and welcome to your outlet for outdoors and Western lifestyle, The Ben Show. I'm your host, Rebecca Warner, a.k.a. Beck. As always, you know we love hearing from all of you, your comments, your stories, your ideas. Get a hold of us anytime. Call or text 305-900-2363. Again, that's 305-900-2363. Or you can always drop an email to bendradioshow@gmail.com. Ryan Long Shotgun, as always, is my producer, sound engineer, and co-host, Jeff Tigger Earhart. It is hot outside. That's all I have to say.
Hot everywhere, Beck.
I mean,
everywhere it's hot.
Why? I always say this, and I know some people say, Beck, though, are you the one that complains in the winter and say, you know, I'm over the cold, I want it to be warm out? I really don't complain that much about it being very cold.
I'm going to have your back on that. You don't complain about being too cold. You're a good sport. You don't complain about it being too hot. You're a good sport.
Yeah,
I guess I can maybe handle the heat and the humidity a little more than you can for some reason.
Well, that's because my hair can't.
Right.
I've got this hair. Many of you have not seen me in person, but if you can imagine, I have really long curly hair. So my humidity and my hair do not go together.
Who's that gal that everybody says that you look like?
Oh, Kimberly from the country music group, Little Big Town.
There you go.
I get mistaken for Kimberly all the time from Little Big Town. So there you have it. Now you have a real visual, and they're going, "Oh, poor Tigger, all that blonde curly hair."
There's lots of hair in this house.
All right, I have a couple of news bits for you that I thought I would share that might make you chuckle or make your day. First one is we had Houma, Louisiana, where teens recently called 911 after encountering Bigfoot in the Kisatchie National Forest.
Well, of course, that's what you do when you encounter Bigfoot.
I believe in Sasquatch, so, you know, I believe. The teens claim to have seen a 5-foot animal resembling Bigfoot with glowing eyes. Despite an investigation, the sheriff's office could not find any evidence of the alleged encounter.
Okay, so I got holes in this one. A 5-foot, if they would have said like 7 foot or something like that. 5 foot, that's not a big foot. That's like a medium foot. It's like a size 6. That is so far from a Bigfoot.
I gotta admit, if it was only 5 feet, I probably would have been calling the police saying, I think a monkey got out.
Yeah, I mean, somebody's German Shepherd. I mean, I'm out on that one.
But I will say, I do believe in Sasquatch.
We know.
Hey, my dad used to tell me stories, okay? Mm-hmm. All right, the next one takes us to Florida, where a man recently went viral on the internet for using an alligator to open a beer can. The man lured the gator into his boat, popped the can open with its teeth, and then he had his friend chug the beer.
Okay, this man is a hero. As far as I'm concerned, I mean, I know you kind of are teasing a little bit, but this man is a hero in my eyes, something to aspire to.
Well, get this. When I said it went viral, the video has gathered over 3 million views with, of course, lots of humorous comments. So you can about imagine some of the comments possibly made about this.
So these guys were fishing, and he was able to get this gator in a boat, and he opened his mouth, and he used it to pop a top on his brewski. This man is a genius. I think this man should run for president as far as I'm concerned because he can problem solve and he's efficient. And he's resourceful using what's around him.
Well, I guess that's why Florida, they're called the Gators, right?
There you go. Florida people, they know how to do it.
I'm not going to mess around with them. Besides, you and I, when we've been down there are just some critters you're not going to mess with when you're in Florida.
But I do want to go gator hunting.
I do too.
That's on my bucket list that we want to go gator hunting, but I won't use it to pop a top on the brewski.
That's pretty good. Pop a top. All right. Our final news story, in case you haven't heard this, Cup Noodles. Yes, they're known for their ramen noodles, has created a new ramen noodle dish that features poisonous blowfish. Yep, you heard me right. The poisonous blowfish is considered a delicacy in Japan because of how expensive it is.
But there's only a little area of that blowfish that you can actually eat. I mean, it takes like precision. How do I know this? But it takes precision to get that little piece of meat out of there.
I know.
That is not going to kill you?
Yeah, I know.
Okay, continue.
The
It's in company.
blowfish can kill you, yes, if it's not prepared correctly. That is accurate, Tigger. Cup Noodles says that they roast their blowfish before including them in their broth. And a cup will cost you about $1.95.
Well, there's a problem with this. One is that it's ramen noodles, which is just wrong all the way around. But I guess if you're in Japan, you eat a lot of noodles and apparently a lot of blowfish. So if it's only $1 something, I mean, come on.
$1.95.
$1.95. How much of a delicacy is that?
Okay, but I do have to jump in there because the week prior to the 4th of July, the same company, Cup Noodles, they came out with a s'more edition of ramen.
You were saying that.
And I found it in our local grocery store. Actually, they brought it in on a pallet. They didn't even take it off the pallet, and people were buying it. And I was going to buy it to try over the 4th.
That was the day before we left for camping, before the 4th.
Yes.
You were telling me about this,
know.
that the pallet was completely gone.
So I feel like
Weird.
this weekend when we go and restock on groceries on Sunday there, I feel like I'm going to have to buy a cup of that one at least and try it for the team here.
That's all you. You can have all, babe. I didn't want none of that.
All right, I know it's really hot outside everywhere, and many of you may not be thinking about archery season, hunting season right around the corner.
I guarantee they're thinking about it.
But I'm telling you now, we talked about it last episode, gear, getting it ready. Yes, how about those trail cams? A, do you have trail cams? B, are you in the market for trail cams? C, have you ever used trail cams? Well, the reason why right now you need to get those out or be thinking about purchasing them is because A, do they work, the ones that you have? B, if you're in the market for them, have you realized there's a lot of different options in trail cams out there? So you're going to want to be doing your research and figuring out, one of the biggest things people have to realize right off the bat is, are you going with a non-cellular trail camera or are you going with a cellular trail camera? Meaning, are you going to hike out to the camera every day or every other day to get your images, or are you going to hook them up with, say, your mobile cell phone data plan?
That's kind of
and
a
be able
no-brainer.
to get them at an instant notice from wherever you're at.
You know, we have seen lots of video that friends have shared with us of what they've seen on their trail cams. Mm-hmm. Just like over where we're at, they had moose here. Remember that when the guy that was coming out working on our skid steer?
Yes.
Showed us the video of his trail cams. Elk is what he saw.
Elk, yes.
And I said, I didn't believe you. And he showed me his phone.
Yep. And right
Very
now,
cool.
the elk, the deer, all of them are in velvet and they're growing quickly. So, yes, now's the time to get those figured out, as you're shopping, or if you already have some on hand, you're going to be wanting to test the battery lives on them. Are they needing upgrades? You want to make sure you have plenty of time to get those put in place. Excuse me. Next one is it's hot out. Where do we even put them? You put them near the watering holes. Think about it. The animals are no different than you or I. We want to go where our water sources are. You're going to want to make sure you're looking for trails going to and from watering holes. And then just play around with your trail cams to get an idea, too, that these trail cams are getting you the image quality, the video quality you're wanting. They're having the trigger speed, the recovery time. These are all things to be thinking about with your trail cams, as well as have them turned on at night so that you make sure you have a trail cam that has the right flash type that you're wanting. Who would have thought there'd be different flash types, but there are. You don't want something that's going to be really bright and scare the wildlife away. So now's a great time to be playing with them, testing your trail cams, as I said, and just having some fun with it, okay?
So if I'm understanding you correctly, you are giving everyone permission right now to play with their hunting gadgets.
Yes.
You are granting all of us guys out there grace.
Yes,
and ladies out there to play with your hunting gadgets.
It's okay. Have fun. If
Okay.
nothing else, here's an idea. If the wives, or if maybe you have some naysayers in your household, then go and set up little, I'm going to call them booby traps or whatever you want to call it, in the backyard. Mess with the kids. That's one way. If you don't have a way to get to where you
genius.
usually hunt, set them up in your own yard
Make
and
sure
you'll get the
are doing
kids.
the chores.
Yes.
I love it. I love it.
All right, you're listening to the Bend Radio Show. We'll be back right after this.
Before you head to the next rodeo, a concert, maybe a gathering on or off the ranch, we head to Medora Boot and Western Wear.
Tigger and Beck here for Medora Boot and Western Wear. Latest Western fashion in boots, jackets, and hats.
From durable ranch wear to keeping the horses in sturdy tack, visit medoraboot.com to order.
Or better yet, plan to visit Medora, North Dakota and shop Medora Boot and Western Wear.
Again, go to medoraboot.com. You can follow on Facebook and tell them Tigger and Beck sent you.
This is Beck. First, I appreciate all of you for listening and making The Bend part of your week. Many of you have asked, how do I catch past episodes? The answer is super easy. Head to thebendshow.com and click on the shows tab. There you can listen to every episode all the way back to episode 1. Podcasters, head to your favorite podcasting app and search The Bend. You'll find us. Be sure to follow and subscribe and never miss another episode again.
Hey guys and gals, this is John Armand with Ultimate Outdoor Adventures TV. Ultimate Outdoor Adventures TV travels the back roads to the backwaters in pursuit of the ultimate adventure in hunting and fishing. Join Team UOA every week for exciting action in the crosshairs of the outdoors. Catch Ultimate Outdoor Adventures TV on YouTube, Amazon Prime, and make sure to follow Team UOA on Facebook and Instagram to share in the ultimate outdoor adventure.
Welcome back to your outlet for outdoors and Western lifestyle, The Bend Show. I am your host, Rebecca Warner, a.k.a. Beck, and Ride Long Shotgun, as always, is my co-host, Jeff Tigger Earhart. Now we are full swing into camping season, and Tigger and I just crammed in another quick camping trip. And with every one of them, there's always wins, fails, and learning experiences. We broke one of our first rules right off the bat with this second camping trip, and that was by not getting to our site with plenty of daylight.
We broke the cardinal rule.
Yeah,
Not
we
our
did.
fault, though. We tried to get out of here as early as we could, but by the time we got there, we didn't have much daylight left.
That happens. But thankfully, Tigger, I will give you street cred on this one. You had our headlamps charged, ready to go.
You darn tootin' I did.
I think you had backups for the backups
You
of
darn
the,
tootin' I
the
did.
headlamps. Because let's just be honest, it took us until 11:30 that night to finish setting up camp. Thankfully, we had nobody near us, so we weren't that guy in the
But we
campground.
weren't arguing or bickering or anything. We were fighting through this and fighting through that.
And one of the reasons why it took us so long wasn't just because we got there late. We were dealing with wind. Okay,
Yeah.
There was a lot more wind than we had prepared. Setting up a tent, you can about imagine.
It was that different tent too. It was that we were doing a little R&D on a new tent that was sent to us to try out to see what we thought. Even though we set it up at home first, when we got to the wind, it was a totally different situation.
But weren't you glad that last minute when we headed out, I had said, let's throw in, I know this sounds crazy, but we threw in just our usual hand weights that we have.
Or
those
dumbbells,
Those
yeah.
25-pound, 30-pound dumbbells. And
Made
we
a
also
difference.
threw in your gongs that we use for shooting.
Yep.
And they actually worked terrific to hold the tent down.
Yeah, because the new tents nowadays, they don't have as many grommets in them.
I
and
know.
tie off. It's just on the Rainfly that has a couple extra. They're not like years ago that you could stake them down in like 16 different places. Now it's just one on each corner, and this was a big old tent.
Well, years ago, it seemed like they had as many holes as, say, the tarp does with that you
Exactly.
put down, and you
Exactly.
could use the same holes. And I'm with you, Tigger. It's very frustrating. So that's why we threw in the extra weights.
And this was a 10 by 14 tent, by the way, a wall tent. So it wasn't a little dome tent.
No, it was a bigger tent. But I will suggest, by the way, if you're somebody that's getting, I will even say if you're over the age of 30, consider using cots inside of it. We used our elk cots in this one. And I think we mentioned it again last
Game-changing.
week that we had done that. Game changer. Gotta tell you, we were so thankful that we used our cots and we put our mats on them again. We had blow up mattresses, but the brand of the mattress that we were using
Climate.
is Climate. So there you go. Make sure you have yourself set up and be comfortable, because otherwise, why are you camping if you can't be a little bit comfortable? All right, next up was barbecuing when we were cooking out there because it was windy. Guess what didn't work? The griddles. The griddles didn't work in the wind. If you've not purchased one of those new griddles yet for barbecuing, that is something you're going to want to be aware of, is that they are extremely sensitive to the wind.
And I know there's a lot of people saying, oh, come on, Eddie, and they know this, but we didn't. And where we have the big one set up, there isn't a lot of wind. And then we took a small portable one with, so just keep that in mind if that's your main cooking source, that you got to have it out of the wind a lot. Otherwise, you go through a lot of propane, and it takes a long, long time to get your food done.
And we do live in an area with a lot of wind, so this trip was a bit more of R&D, all revolving around wind, I'll be honest with you. So we were prepared. When we went up there, actually, we kind of probably looked a little redneck, but we used our stock trailer to carry all of our equipment. So the back of our stock trailer we power washed it out, so it had our kayaks, it had tables, and everything set up to set up a camp kitchen inside the stock trailer just in case the wind was an issue. Sure enough, it was, and that stock trailer worked out great as a camp kitchen.
Yep.
It also worked to keep all of our stuff cooler because it gave us more shade than we would have had. We were in an area without a lot of trees.
You're a genius, babe.
I'm a genius. Hey, I just like loving the fact that we can use that stock trailer for multiple purposes.
Exactly. I mean, everything kind of smelled like horses and saddles a little bit, but that's all right.
Yeah,
There's nothing wrong with that.
Our stock trailer is a stock combo, so the front of it has a tack room. So that was also our backup in case the wind was too bad. We keep a futon up in the gooseneck of the trailer.
But remember, I showed you that it leaked in the one corner.
I know. Now we gotta get that fixed.
Now I gotta investigate that. That's another story for another episode.
Now, the next thing we did for this trip, and another reason why I said this trip was all about research and development, is we've all seen the ads everywhere for the Solo stove.
Or similar ones to the Solo stove.
Yes. Those beautiful stoves that claim to have no smoke. They're supposed to be a game changer if you want to have a campfire. Tigger and I went around and around before purchasing one. So
we
yes,
actually purchased one, and yeah.
This is not one that Solo Stove sent to us. There was nobody this is one we bought and paid for ourselves. So we really thought about this long and hard before investing the dollars, because like I said, it's not cheap. And the size we went with is the Yukon, which is the second from the biggest that they have. And the reason why we went with that size is we wanted to be able to have at least him and I and another couple comfortably sit around said campfire.
Exactly. So we actually took them off of the shelf, took them out of the boxes, literally set them on the ground. We literally stood around it and simulated what this would be like.
Yes, we are those people that will go into an outdoor store, and we had 3 different sizes pulled down just to kind of compare to see, oh gosh, okay, Tigger, you're a little too close to me. I'm not okay with that.
Right.
To, okay, we don't need something this big. We want to be able to pick it up and take it with us to a campsite and it not be a big ordeal, okay? But the third thing that we needed to have it to be able to do is we have a wood deck. So in order to have it on the deck, we needed a fire pit that had some sort of a stand, and that is what the Solo Stove now offers. With the 2.0, you can get it with the stand, and that is what we purchased, and we have not used it on the deck yet. However, we used it for the camping, and I gotta say, Tigger, I've never seen you light a fire faster.
This was awesome. I'm not endorsing Solo Stove. It's just the one that we went with because I gotta be honest, that was the only options that we had.
We're endorsing the concept at this point.
We're endorsing the concept of kind of a rocket stove. And here's the cool thing is I have never lit a fire that fast. I consider myself pretty snappy at getting one going.
You're kind of a firebug.
I am kind of a pyromaniac when it comes to that. It lit extremely fast. We used less wood. The concept of them made it easier to control the heat and smokeless. Yep, once you got it going and it wasn't smoldering, there was no smoke.
That's the
all
key.
In on this deal.
That is the key. Just so you know, if you're thinking about buying one, there is a few minutes. I'd say about a half hour of the usual getting the fire going and letting, like he said.
It didn't even take that long.
Okay, maybe 15 minutes.
15 minutes, 10 minutes tops.
Smoke was going straight up, and that was a game changer, I got to admit.
Absolutely. And here's what we're going to tell you is, you can cook on them, different things like that. Do not immerse like your marshmallows. We found this out. Don't stick them down into the fire because instantaneously it's so hot inside of that stove, you actually got to hold your marshmallows above said stove, right? I mean, that's a big thing that we found out with that is you have to, hold that above.
Yeah, they don't just burn if you get them lit. They actually just go poop, gone.
I mean, they ignite.
But I will say they made the best marshmallows I have ever had. I was impressed, and
you should have been. You ate half a bag of those said
you weren't
marshmallows.
supposed to tell anybody.
Well,
all right, so there you have it. We're going to keep updating you on how the Solo Stove goes, and if we are still happy with it as we try it on the deck here in the coming weeks.
Absolutely love it.
All right, with that, we're going to take a short break. Stay where you are. The Ben Show will be back right after this.
Pro rodeo fans, watch the Cowboy Channel anytime, anywhere with PRCA on the Cowboy Channel Plus. Live stream the Cowboy Channel or watch your favorite PRCA rodeos on demand. Classic PRCA rodeos added weekly. Get the PRCA on the Cowboy Channel Plus for only $9.99 a month or save 25% by signing up for a full year. Visit CowboyChannelPlus.com to sign up and start streaming today.
You've waited, dreamt of a hunting adventure, and now have harvested that trophy of a lifetime. Keep the memory alive with a custom-designed mount preserved as a work of art. Check out our approved taxidermist depending on your location. The award-winning Schneider Taxidermy is located in Helena, Montana. When hunting the Dakotas, JB's Wildlife Designs in Mandan, North Dakota, then Shadron Creek Taxidermy in Nebraska, and for the Central USA, Little Rack Taxidermy in Macomb, Illinois. Reach out to The Ben Show and let us help you find the right taxidermist. This is Beck. First, I appreciate all of you for listening and making The Bend part of your week. Many of you have asked, how do I catch past episodes? The answer is super easy. Head to thebendshow.com and click on the shows tab. There you can listen to every episode all the way back to episode 1. Podcasters, head to your favorite podcasting app and search The Bend. You'll find us. Be sure to follow and subscribe and never miss another episode again. Welcome back to your outlet for outdoors and Western lifestyle, The Ben Show. I'm your host, Rebecca Warner, a.k.a. Beck, and Ride Long Shotgun, as always, my co-host, Jeff Tigger Earhart. It's hot outside.
Duh. It's really stating the obvious on this one. It's a little warm everywhere. This has been a warm weekend.
Well, here's some tips for you, and maybe you know this, maybe you don't know this. Did you know it is better to drink room temperature water than ice cold water on a hot day?
Yes, I knew that.
I don't know that you knew that.
Yes, I knew that. Don't even question me on that.
I don't believe that. I think you only drink room temperature water because your teeth hurt.
Funny. Well, that too.
All right, for those of you that didn't know this, yes, it is true. Room temperature is better. Why? Easier absorption. Your body, it's easier. Think about it. Cold makes things constrict. Your blood vessels constrict. Yes, it is better to drink a room temperature water, or if you have only ice cold water available, mix it with a warmer water just to kind of get it not so cold.
I can't even see how people can just grab a water out of a cooler that's ice cold, but maybe that's just because I've drank warm water my whole life. We were so poor, Beck. We couldn't even make ice. We had to drink warm water.
Wah, wah, wah. All right, here's the other reason, by the way, in case you were wondering, because I said about blood vessels constricting. Water helps maintain a balanced fluid intake, supporting that overall hydration. However, there's more to it than that. It's also more gentle on your stomach. Cold water can sometimes shock that digestive system and lead to some discomfort, if you know what I mean. Room temperature water is actually gentler and promotes better digestion and comfort. And the other reason I do this every morning, I wake up and drink a warm glass of water because
yes, you do every morning.
It supports your metabolism. That gets overlooked a lot of times. If you've been wondering,
you'll drink more warm water than you will cold water. Think about that. On a hot day, a person will drink way more warm water than cold water. Cold water, you drink a little bit and then you put it down. And then before you know it, you are dehydrated.
You got it. It's easier to drink room temperature water. So like we said, pick up that room temperature glass and don't be afraid of it. It's still water. You're getting hydrated. Next, Those coolers, keeping them cold. I hear this again and again. Beck, do you have any tips? My first one is before you pack that cooler to head anywhere, already have it cooled down. It doesn't take that long. It's no different than a thermos. When you rinse it out in the morning, put your hot coffee in it, you should rinse it out with hot water so it's hot already, to put the hot substance, the liquid in it to keep it hot longer. Think about your cooler. Cool your cooler down first. That's the first major thing.
That's why it's called a cooler.
Oh my gosh, you are not funny today.
I'm all with you.
All right. And the next thing is if you think you're going to be digging in and out of your cooler a lot, and some things you don't need to be digging in and out of your cooler a lot for, get 2 coolers. Put those items that can just sit there and chill for a day or two in a cooler that's not going to get opened in their own cooler, and put those other items you're going to be grabbing in and out of in a separate cooler.
That was game-changing for us.
We're going to call this show wrapped, folks. Remember, keep sending in your comments, stories, ideas, spot-worthy subjects, or if you have a recipe we need to try out in our very own cabin kitchen, as well as your area's field reports. That number again, you can call or text anytime, is 305-900-2363. Again, that's 305-900-2363. Or you can always email bendradioshow@gmail.com. If you missed part of this episode or you want to hear past shows, you can find them all on the website, thebendshow.com. And be sure to subscribe on your favorite podcasting app or to The Ben Show YouTube channel. Thank you to our partners, Ditali Outdoors, The Prairie Crocus, Medora Boot and Western Wear, Blue Water Girl Charters, Buckstorm, Little Rack Taxidermy, Mickey's Mustard, Atlas Tracks, RFD TV, and Wrangler. Finally, a big thanks to all of you listeners that came along again this week. Whether you're coming or going, stay with us as we ranch it up. And remember to keep up with me, Beck, all week long by following The Bend on Facebook and on Instagram at The Bend Show. This is Rebecca Warner. Catch Beck if you can next week on The Bend.